Hi, I'm your dorky friend Lisa and welcome back to my channel. Last week I made a hate video, so this week I figured it'd be all about the love. And I actually got tagged in a Facebook post today to post books that I love for 7 days by my friend Shelly, so hi, shout out Shelly. I'd already decided to do a love video today, so I thought it was a bit serendipitous, so it was meant to be. Anyway, I really love books, so it was hard for me to pull just a few. So we're going to start out though with one of my favorite authors who I drove 3.5 hours to Baltimore, Maryland to meet. And that would be Christopher Moore. And this is Lamb, which is the first book of his I actually ever read. I've probably mentioned him before, but we're going to forget about that and just go with this book because this isn't about monster stuff. This is about Jesus and his best friend Biff. Yeah, you heard that right. Basically, Jesus goes on adventures because he wants to learn about the world, and he gets Biff to do his sinning for him. So of course, Biff is a bit of a character. It's quite fun. Again, all of his books are quite hilarious and fun, and he's a rather funny gentleman, like I said, because I met him in person, and it shows in his writing, and I really appreciate that. The next book I picked was Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister, which is, of course, Gregory Maguire, who wrote the Wicked series. He tends to do fairy tale related stories, and this is, of course, the Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister, which is Cinderella from the version of the Ugly Stepsister, but who's not really ugly, who's actually just a little bit on the plain side, but she's an actual like character on her own and has a life and a story in this, and it's actually highly entertaining. This actually I read before I did any of the Wicked series, and I actually like it better than the Wicked series personally, but don't tell him that. Then we have Jane Bites Back, which is part of a series. There's Jane Goes Batty and Jane's Revenge. It's by Michael Thomas Moore. Excuse me, Michael Thomas Ford. I'm at Ford, sorry. I'm looking at Christopher here. It's basically Jane Austen in the here and now. She's a vampire. She owns a bookstore. She's writing but not getting published. She has a whole life and adventures, and you find out that she was turned by Lord Byron and has run in with those wicked Bronte sisters. It's quite a fun series, especially if you like classic literature, because it kind of like throws a little camp on there, which is fun. And then there's Choke by Chuck Palahniuk, who most people know from Fight Club. And it's basically about they actually made a movie about it a few years ago, but it wasn't really popular and a lot of people didn't know about it. I actually didn't even know that they made it until like it was already on cable, because my better half was just flipping through and I saw a scene and I'm like, that's from Choke, and sure enough it was. But basically the whole plot of the movie is this guy who's a bit of a scam artist. Okay, he's a full-on scam artist. Goes to fancy restaurants and basically pretends to choke on food, and whoever saves him feels like responsible for him, ends up like giving him money and trying to like take care of him, and but he's also a total sex addict, so he goes to meetings and all kinds of crazy adventures happen with this man. Again, I love Chuck. Anyway, he has quite a few books. I'll probably pull something else of his in the future, because he has a series that is kind of like it was kind of advertised as the Breakfast Club of the Underworld, and I kind of get that reference, and it's really good. I like. Then the final one is, well, Darren Shane, who is an English-Irish gentleman. He has a really fun accent. I met him. They made a movie of the Cirque du Freak series a few years ago. It was called The Vampire's Assistant, and they basically tried to shove all the books together like they did with that horrible, well, I don't want to say horrible because I love Jim Carrey, but that horrible movie of the Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. I love Jim Carrey, and I thought he was completely, like, perfect casting for Count Olaf. But this, if you watch that movie and you read the books, though, basically what they did was they took the first 3 books, outlined, threw them together with like a star-studded cast, and then threw on some crappy ending that actually had nothing to do with the books at all. So it was kind of a disappointment for the people who actually like the series, which I do. The Netflix show, though, actually is a little bit more along the lines of the books, and it's actually, I think they're doing a really good job with that, so they should stick with that. I like that. But anyway, Cirque du Freak, which I said, like, they made a movie. Vampire's Assistant, which was basically, again, like the first 3 books of the series, sort of with a weird ending on it that kind of sort of had to do with the series. I mean, I don't know, I guess because both series had, actually both of them had 13 books in them, so I guess they figured that was just too much source material to make a decent movie. But as we've learned with, you know, Harry Potter, it could freaking happen. Make multiple movies. If you make a good product, people will actually continue to come to it instead of trying to shove all these smaller books together into like one movie with a crap ending that has nothing to actually do with the series. We hate that. Don't do that. You're listening to Hollywood. I get off my soapbox now, sorry. But Darren Shane Rosso wrote a standalone, which is The Thin Executioner. Which is really good. It's about a young man who, small, it doesn't say, it's a fantasy land, but it's kind of like a desert, Middle East kind of feeling town, and his father's the executioner, and he has an older brother, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. He has a thing for, she's not really referred to as a princess, but basically the princess. And he wants to win her heart, though, so he goes on a quest for her, basically, which is this long, huge adventure. Horrible things happen to him. Basically, by the end, though, he is a different person. He's grown, even though he's still the same person, but, you know, not. He realizes his faults and who he chooses, and he, again, he himself, I don't want to give away the ending, but he himself ends up being the hero of the story, and it's a really fun adventure. I highly recommend it, especially if a parent is watching this and you want to read, you know, something to your children at nighttime, which also I highly recommend. This is a good one to do it. There's adventure and crazy events and things that are kind of gross that kids would like. So again, Thin Executioner. Again, guys, I love books, and I could probably pull, you know, tons and tons more for you, but I feel like I've given you enough titles to work with. I enjoyed it, guys. I hope you did too. So if you did, hit that like button and definitely subscribe to let me know you guys are out there. And as always, if there's something you're interested in reading but you're not sure if you have the time for it, or if it's something you really are interested, tell me in the comment section below. Maybe I'll read it for you, do a video on it. See you next time, guys. Bye.